Is it possible to complete Oddworld Soulstorm without you? No, it's not. But I thought, why not try to see how far I can reach in every level without using any items? So I thought this could be fun. So I thought, okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Starting out with the Radon Mooncycle Light. Thankfully, I am able to bypass the fire without using water to turn them off, since Abe can just roll down. Everything went fine until I reached that part. The one where I'm required to use brew to ignite some fire and then turn it off with water to burn down that wooden wall. And since there's no other way I can bypass it, my journey ends here. Up next is the ruins. Thankfully, it was easy for me to bypass all of these lakes without using any items. And shockingly, I was even able to bypass these leaks right here without any of them seeing me and without using any items at all. Like, I did not even expect that it would even be possible for me at all, nor would it just take so easy for me to do this. Aside from this, everything else went totally fine in the ruins. But then I really have to talk about this part right here, which was like extreme luck. You see this sleek that's about to wake up, and there's that sleek down there. So I was really getting in a stuck position. But now look what is about to happen. The sleek was trying to shoot me, but instead he turned on the fire from the brew and turned himself on fire. And the sleek up there knocked me down so that he couldn't reach me. That was extreme luck. I was so surprised by myself. But aside from that, I was able to continue until I reached the mine shaft. This is here where things start to get challenging, because here I am required to use these stun mines to stun down the sleek to bypass it. After a few experiments, I figured out how I could do this. What I need to do is, I need to sneak behind the sleek, press the lever, run all the way to the right, because the sleek cannot see me from his vision if I cram myself all the way to the right. Then I sneak hop all the way up to the platform, waiting for him to go to the right, then sneak hop behind him. That way I could be able to bypass him. So yeah, this went fine, except for a few failed attempts. And things went pretty fine with these leaks too, as it was also easy for me to bypass them as well, with almost no problems as well. And for reaching the final part where I have to protect the Meduct from climbing ladder, thankfully this part doesn't require me any items, but only like possessed sleek to protect the Meducts. With this, the ruins was possible to complete with no items. Up next is the blimp. Everything went completely fine with the blimp until I reached that part where I struggle a little bit trying to bypass these leaks. But after a few attempts, I successfully managed to bypass them, aside from getting hit a few times. After that, everything went totally fine until I reached that part. You see, there's these two platforms that is getting on fire, and then there's these three sleeks on top. After a few experiments, I figured out that it might be possible for me to bypass that part. What I did is, I first started out possessing that one sleek, shooting these two sleeks down, then I would literally just jump on these two platforms as fast as possible and reach the top platform and make a roll so that he can turn off the fire. And it actually works, and he survived. And after this, the blimp was possible as well, without any use of items. Up next is the funicular. This is the part where you need to craft the antidote. And yeah, the antidote is actually considered like a part of the crafting menu, but I think I want to give the antidote an exception, because you don't actually use the antidote as a weapon to defend yourself in knocking down or killing the enemy. You're just using it to heal the Mudokons that are in front of you. And also, the game itself doesn't actually consider it an item, so thankfully I'm good to go. But aside from this, I didn't really went through any problems with the funicular, so everything went completely fine with the funicular. The same thing can also be said with Sora Valley, as everything went good as well. Next up is Fat Station. Everything went totally fine with Fat Station, as I had an absolutely good run until I reach that part. The one where there's a sensor right in front of me, and if I try to bypass it, I activate an electric fence, because here I am actually supposed to craft a smoke screen to cover the motion sensor so that I don't activate the electric fence. And since I can use any items, I cannot bypass that motion sensor, which was very unfortunate. I had an absolute good run on Fat Station, but this was quite disappointing. Next up is the hijack, and my journey didn't last quite long because it already ended here, where I'm required to ignite some fire with using brew to set these boxes on fire in the wooden wall as well. I tried to see if I was able to bypass that part by going underneath the train, but it only led me to this secret area, and I couldn't go any further, so no, it wasn't possible for me to continue. Up next is Reunion at the Old Trellis. This is here where I found out that trying to save Mudokons, or at least bringing them with you, is an absolute sucker, especially with that one's Mudokon right here, because whenever I try to bring him with me, he easily just like alarms all the other sleek patrols. So I thought, screw it, I'm not gonna let him follow me, and I decided to just go down all by myself, which made things a lot more easier. But what's even worse is the part with trying to defend the Mudokons from climbing up, is that I was literally forced to see them getting killed by these sleeks, because one, these Mudokons that I at least brought with me, I cannot use them to anything because I can't give them items because I don't have any. And second thing is, there's also these security orbs that makes me unable to possess the sleeks by myself. So because of this, it all resulted with only 2 Mudokons who survived all the way to the top of the train. But aside from this, okay, at least it was possible for me to complete the old trails without any items, so I guess that was the thing. Next up is Sleek Barracks. Aside from a few struggles from bypassing all of these sleeks, in this area everything went fine. But again, it was a total sucker bringing Mudokons with you to save them, because they are also such a huge distraction to alarm the security. So because of this, I literally gave up trying to bring Mudokons with me, because I know either they're going to die or they're gonna make things so much worse. Aside from this, everything went fine until I reached the boiler room, where I am required to explode that platform with Fizzy Pow, and I can't do that. And the unfortunate thing is, when going to the right, the result is pretty much the same. And the worst thing is, there's also security orb, so you can't possess the sleeks as well. So No, it was not possible to complete Slick Barracks without any items. Up next is Necrum. And for Necrum, everything went totally fine with no necessary need of items. So did the mines. Aside from I can highlight this part where I couldn't bring these Mudokons with me without seeing them getting burned. When it comes to the Sanctum, this was here where things got really interesting, because this part heavily relies on lights and flares. Surprisingly enough, I was able to bypass all of these sleechers without using any kinds of light. Like, at least the first part. Until later on, I remembered that the sleechers also don't like the light from Ape's chanting light, which was extremely useful for me to progress further. Everything went fine until I reached the very last door in this trial, especially this part right here. You see, when you reach this part, there's a group of sleechers that just spawns out of nowhere, and then they try to attack you, which makes things a lot difficult. So what I tried to do is, I tried to go down, try to lure them away with Ape's chanting light. But even with this method, I barely had any chance to take at least a few steps to progress a bit further, because they just tried to run back to immediately. So after a lot of struggles, I somehow managed to lure them away, far away from me, like before they couldn't like even reach me, and I was able to reach the top and reach that checkpoint. So thankfully it was over. But this was here where the next challenge was awaiting for me. Here, since this space here is a bit cramped up, it makes things a bit difficult, because here the trick is with trying to lure them away with the chanting line. It didn't really work, because I didn't have enough time to try to run to the right without them running back to me, because of such little space. After a few experiments, I found out that if you try to lure them to the left, there's a chance that you can actually like pressure them to bypass that crystal light, and then they will just reach behind me. When that happened, they are unable to touch me because of the crystal light. So I tried to lure them one by one behind me, and after such time, I finally got the last sleecher behind me, and I had free space to move on. And after that part, everything else went pretty smoothly. And with this, the Sanctum was complete. I was absolutely shocked that this was even possible from the very beginning. Like, I seriously expected that it would even be possible for me without using any light. But the fact that I did this without any items, well, without any torches or any flares, I was shocked about that. But okay, it is possible to complete the Sanctum without any items. Up next is the escape. This is here where I learned that my journey was immediately over because of that platform. Until this happened. Yeah, the Slicks just destroyed the platform for me, but when I reached to the right, I figured out I also need to destroy that platform to reach the 3 Mudokons underneath, so I could save them and activate the Shrikle power. But then I came up with an idea. I restarted the checkpoint, made sure that the Slick would go to the right side of the platform, make them shoot the platform down, then I would possess that Slick who was on the right side, making him destroy the platform itself, and yeah, now I was able to reach them. So thankful I was able to save them, and I got the Shrikle power, and thankful I was able to progress further throughout the level. And also, using Shrikle is not considered an item. I mean, like, the game itself does not consider Schreikel as an item. For the first pen, everything went pretty fine. Second pen also went fine as well, as all I had to do was just staying on this part and keep chanting to distract these two sligs without killing them with Dawkins or spawning more. Seventh pen, after a few struggles, it went fine as well. Sixth pen went fine, but I had to sacrifice a few Medakins. Sixth pen, there was no sligs, so this went easy. Fourth pen also went pretty fine, but you know what? I'm pretty much just repeating the same thing. So let's just say the whole level went pretty fine. So without saying anything else, the escape was possible with no items. Next up is Fikudiku. This is here where I learned that my journey ended pretty fast because of that part. Because here I am required to throw some bouncy beating candy on that slick up there, because he doesn't allow me to bring that platform on me unless he's knocked down. And since there's no other way you can bypass that part, I can't progress any further on Fikudipu. So no, Fikudipu is not possible to complete without any items. Next up is the yards, and the yards went totally fine without any necessary need of items until I reached the end of the yards with the containers. Completing this without any items gave me flashback to when I was trying to complete this during the launch date, because this literally brings back the same kind of difficulty of when Soulstorm first came out. But because not only that, what made it even more difficult was there was this part where there's these security orb interrupting your possession of that flying sligs. So here I need to do something. After a few struggles, I finally managed to complete it. So, and the yards was complete with no items at all. Next up is Soulstorm Brewery, and the level starts with me being surrounded by fire, where I need to turn it off with fire extinguisher. Thankfully, Abe was able to bypass the fire without dying, so that went pretty easily. The best thing is there was a royal jelly up front, so this helped me a lot. Aside from this, everything went completely fine with Soulstorm Brewery until I reached that part where it's these mine bombs that I am required to destroy by using either rock candy or fizzy pow, and since I can't use any of these, I am not able to bypass that part. So brewery is not possible to complete. The last level is Eye of the Storm. Yeah, this one is a bit interesting. Everything went fine until I reached that part right here, where I am required to possess, or not possess, like actually igniting fire to burn down these wooden walls. And here I thought my journey was already over, until after a few experiments I figured out, okay, maybe not, it was over, as I figured out a way how to complete this part without using any items. So what I did is I sneaked up all the way right here, right all the way to the left. Then I was waiting for the slick to come slowly to me, because when I'm here I am out of reach of that security orb. So I was able to possess a slick and let him destroy that wooden platform for me, and even the one down there as well. Then after doing this, I was even trying to see if I could destroy the wooden walls to the right, where there's these Madakan slave And surprisingly, it actually worked. So that way I was able to activate third pump and even saving these Mudokons as well. Then I reached the Eye boss battle, and after a few attempts it worked pretty fine with no items. But this was here where my happiness got torn away because of that single sleek right there that doesn't allow me to progress further unless if I throw a sticky fizzy pal on him so that he would just shut his mouth and just never see the light ever again. And since I can't do that, I can't progress any further, which was extremely frustrating. I was trying to figure out a way to bypass these wooden walls and complete the Eye boss, and then there was this. So here is the result of the entire challenges. 11 out of 17 levels were possible to complete without using any items, which I thought was so ironic. Man, like, this really goes to show that Abe is so overpowered with these items. So yeah, that was all I had today. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.